Hello, everybody.
Hi, Brandy.
How are you today? Hi.
Morning, Brandy.
Good morning. How was everyone's weekend?
Busy.
Mine was good.
Busy. That's December.
Exactly.
Can you guys see my screen okay?
I can.
Great. Actually, let me do a present so it gets bigger. Cindy, I know you have adaptability on the call. Susan and Marcia, do either of you have adaptability?
Mine is like number 3.
Yours is, Marcia? Okay.
Yes.
For me, it's number 10.
Okay. For me, it's like number 30.
Sorry.
I had to get help writing this again because I'm super structured, super predictable, super consistent, very, very opposite of flexible and go with the flow and adaptable. So should be a
Do you
fun
hate
one.
change?
What'd you say, Susan?
Do you hate change?
So I'm a learner, which means that I really like learning new things. So I do like variation for sure. But when it comes to like my own daily, let's say routine, I don't change it at all. You know, I have found what works for me and I just stick with that. And you know, but see, when you're a learner, you also like continuous improvement. So I make incremental improvements all the time. But big changes, yeah, I wouldn't say I cope with those particularly well.
It's number 1 on my list, and I am a very go with the flow person.
Yeah. Yeah, where you can just, something changes and you just say, oh, I guess I got to get up and go take care of that now.
Yeah, or it changes when it comes to my work. It's like, well, imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
I think oh, go ahead.
I have adaptability as number 3, and then consistency is number 4, which I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that kind of like opposite?
It is, and it's so weird when that happens. And if Ernie joins today, he has the same thing going on. And that makes it really hard to like decipher the difference between adaptability and consistency, you know, because they're all mixed together. So it's like, so you can think of it this way. You're like consistently flexible.
Yeah.
And you're flexibly consistent. So you've got some things you're going to be very consistent about, but there is a lot of nuances of that adaptability and ability to change and the flexibility that comes with it as well. So I think it just gives you a balance, right? That balance of having some structure and organization along with the high aptitude to be flexible as well.
Yeah.
And be dynamic in the moment.
Okay.
Which it's great because sometimes adaptability people can be a little lost, right? If they don't have any structure or any strengths that guide them, or you know, if they're just like, meh, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so let me start walking you ladies through this.
Okay.
So adaptability is found in a person's top 5 strength capacities 17% of the time. That means approximately 20% of the world has adaptability as a top 5 strength. So it's not one of the highest, it's not one of the lowest, but it's right there in the middle. You can see that a blue theme today for adaptability, because adaptability does fall into the relationship building domain. And the reason why is because we like adaptability, other people, because you guys will go with us. If we want to do something, you're like, sure, let's go. We can do that. I'm happy to adapt. I'm happy to adjust. I'm happy to do what you want to do. It's also a strength that has a calmness about it and brings, that calmness and relaxation to others. And we're drawn to that because we get to go, okay, I just get to be relaxed and I get to be myself and I get to be, just whatever around you. I don't have to be on to be in your presence. In the work cycle or in the work zones, let's say, adaptability falls into the innovation area. It's very flexible. It's very innovative. It can take something that already exists today and develop it further into like a more mature or realistic idea or solution. So you're going to see that as we talk today too, that there's this very innovative, flexible, mindset. Your minds, if you have adaptability, can change and move and adjust right in the split second in the moment. Okay, so here's some of the traits that Gallup defines for the adaptability strength. The strength values moving organically and lives in the moment. It takes in information as it comes and determines the next steps based on the information coming in. And they are typically flexible, calm, reassuring, and even-keeled. They love spontaneity, and they don't mind the unexpected at all. In fact, they welcome it. They know that change is inevitable, so they expect change. They don't fight it. And they don't look as the future being fixed, but rather determined by the choices that you make today. And those choices add up to create that future. They're not resentful people. Okay, they look forward to the sudden unforeseen detours, and they're always willing and ready to respond to those needs of the moment. They're most productive when action is immediately required of them. It's interesting because they don't really like having to follow a certain pattern or a certain structure. They don't like being told what to do when. They want to do it on their own time, but they're actually most productive when something pops up that they need to do or they feel the need to do. Okay, they recover from setbacks extremely quickly, to the point where they're always wondering why other people aren't getting over it. But other people, take more time to process and think through and analyze before they can get through something or move forward. They need a lot of variety in their life, so they're always seeking for, situations that are changing or abnormalities or just, something interesting, because they can get bored if everything's too consistent.
Yeah.
So structure and predictability is frustrating. It stifles their independence. So does, I should put on here, so does repetitiveness, right? Structure, predictability, and repetitiveness. They prefer those quick things that happen and they can get resolved quickly. They don't like the really long projects and the long drawn out campaigns and the long lists of things to do. And, in experimental environments are where they're going to be at their best, as well as things like journalism, production, production. And when you're into production, you have a lot of things changing, a lot of things going on. Emergency healthcare, where you got to respond immediately. Customer service, where you have no idea what that customer needs in that moment, but you got to respond. Okay, so adaptability does get intensified when it's paired with some other strengths. Do any of you have any of these combinations?
Not me.
I've got woo.
Was that Brad? Did Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Brad.
Hi. And ideation, actually. Either one of those.
Yeah, so it's like, since adaptability is so flexible and woo quickly adapts to win others over in the moment, when you have both of these strengths, then you move really, really fast in the moment. I mean, you can adapt and change and flow, and it's super duper fast. And with ideation, whew, then you're like really wild.
Party planner or something like that, waiting to happen.
I mean, it just means that any moment that's spontaneous, that needs someone to think very dynamically in the moment on their feet. I mean, you've got that going for you.
I actually had to, quick story, I know you're trying to get through this. I had to, when my grandmother died, we were, all waiting there at her funeral with like 200 people, and the priest never showed up. And they all got together and voted me to run a funeral for my grandmother with about 5 minutes of preparation time. So I basically got up there and improv an entire funeral for my own
That's
grandmother.
crazy. That's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, that is crazy.
That is adaptability.
I have empathy with mine.
You do. So because you have
Yep.
empathy, you're going to have extreme compassion for people. And when you have extreme compassion for people, you accommodate them. You easily accommodate them because you understand them. And then when you're adaptive, you're also just naturally extremely flexible and go with the flow and accepting of people. So when you have both, I mean, it's real easy to be walked all over, right? Because you just understand, you're compassionate, you go with the flow, you're easygoing, laid back, whatever. And so it can be, it can be hard to say, look, I do have some boundaries. Here they are. I'm go with the flow here and compassionate here, but there's a few areas where I really, got to put my foot down. So it becomes intensified when you have both, about how flexible you really are.
Exactly. I get my feelings hurt easily.
Yeah. Especially if someone else isn't going with the flow with you.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of like, why are you being mean?
Yeah. Why are you being so hard? You're not compassionate. And
Yeah, sure. If you have a ranger with adaptability, our rangers are automatically flexible. They're rearranging. So then you add adaptability into that, and they're very, very, very flexible and have a high ability to adapt to change or needs of the moment. And then we even talked about this last week, that ideation and adaptability together makes someone extremely independent, extremely free thinking, creative, innovative, flexible, abstract. So adaptability is most often paired with empathy. So when I have an adaptable person come into my coaching realm, I look to see where that empathy is. Is it really close by or is it really far away? Because a lot of the time the empathy is lingering somewhere nearby. And then the opposite of adaptability is focus. So the ability to focus is staying on that one task for months at a time, driving towards a goal, and just not being able to focus on anything else rather than what's in front of me until that goal is reached. That sounds awful to you adaptability people, doesn't it? Okay, so your connectors, people that you get along with. First of all, everyone. Okay, I've talked to many adaptability people. They really don't have I don't like this person. They almost can't do that. So they get along with everyone really, really well. They're going to particularly get along with someone with connectedness. Connectedness people also get along with other people extremely well. But the reason why they connect is because they both have a value of getting along with different perspectives and a variety of people. So there's a mutual respect between connectedness and adaptability. And then there's also a mutual respect between developers and adaptability. By the way, adaptability and developer is found close by each other as well, because developer and empathy is close to one another. But they connect because developers seek and feel satisfied by small changes. So they're constantly wanting to see growth and change, and then change is a constant for adaptability. I suppose learner should be on this list too. I'll put it on here because learners is similar. Learner. And then on the first slide, I was going to add repetitiveness, right? Okay. of course, adaptability and ideation are going to get along great. They both got that free experimental unstructured thought. And then adaptability and activator are interesting because activators activate, they push you, they go, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And they give you the little nudge, which adaptability respond well to. However, if somebody is trying to make them go really hard, really fast and do it their way now, that doesn't really work. It's just the little nudge and push that works for the adaptability. That's what they'll respond. Where they might have issues with somebody is like a strong achiever who's trying to get a lot done and trying to get things done now and wants them to achieve with them and wants them to be, you know, in sync and driving towards a, you know, meaningful purpose and driving hard. And the adaptability person's going, whoa, chill. Like, I don't need to go that hard, that fast and drive towards that purpose. I'm going to take my time getting there. Or someone with consistency that's bringing a lot of structure or logic or linear thought pattern to the situation, where adaptability requires, you know, ambiguity, independence, freedom. Discipline's the same way. They bring that structure, they bring the planners, they bring the calendars, and they map everything out to make it extremely efficient. They like routine, which adaptability don't really enjoy. And then we've talked about the focus. Any other thoughts that you want to share?
Hey, this is
Brandy?
Ernie. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Cindy.
I find it odd. I don't know. My adaptability is number 1 and my connectedness is clear down at 31.
Yeah, that's okay. It just means you don't think the way a connectedness person does.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that you wouldn't get along with them, or you might not understand their thought process, but you may appreciate and respect that they value different perspectives like you do.
Okay. And I can see that in myself because I do that a lot, as far as I don't get what you're thinking or how you could think that way, but now I understand that better.
Mm-hmm. Ernie, were you going to say something too, sir?
I was adaptability number 2 and consistency number 8. So I guess that's why I'm always fighting with myself.
Yeah, we just we're talking about that because there's another person on the call who has them even closer. Who was that?
Yeah, Marcia, me.
Marcia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell Ernie where yours are.
I'm adaptability. No. Yeah. Adaptability is number 3 and consistency is number 4.
How about that, Ernie?
Oh, goodness.
Marcia, how does that work for you, do you feel?
You know, there's part of me that likes a routine and doesn't like a routine. So I am, you know, you talked about how we can feel kind of lost. So it's like, if I don't have something in particular that, okay, this is what I'm doing today, then, you know, then I kind of flounder and kind of waste time. But if I know where I'm going, I can have flexibility within that. It is a fight within yourself, really. But yeah, but I don't, there's times that you do just like, okay, what am I doing today? Just let me do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then like, but I can't do that forever. I can't do that every day.
I would assume that when you guys go on vacation, you do not want to. That's true.
I could barely hear you, Brandy.
Can everyone else hear me, or is it just Ernie not being able to hear me?
You're fading in and out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's bad. Here, let me lean in.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I was asking, when you go on vacation, do you like structure or not?
Well, one, I don't want to plan it. I'm just kind of you just tell me where to be and I'll go. And yeah, and that's and whatever you want to do today. Yeah, that's great. So, but you kind of have to have a loose plan, you know?
Gotcha. Okay. Right. So here are the things that I came up with that I would think that might annoy you guys a little bit. Right? If there's no variety or no spontaneity, when you don't have anything to respond or react to, right? It's more fun when there's just some sort of action to take right there in the moment. I would assume that the pandemic was awful, where you didn't get to travel and get to see new places and do some different things. Of course, you know, when you're imposed with that consistency and the structure and you know, Marcia, for you, it's going to be sometimes yes, sometimes no for you specifically.
Yeah. I mean, really with the pandemic, and they sent me home, it's like, oh, I didn't think I'd do well, but oh, this isn't bad.
That's great.
You know,
Yeah.
but I'm also the off the chart introvert, so that probably helped.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ernie, were you going to say something else too? Did I hear you?
I was just going to say, for me, consistency, I think, is less about the way I go about doing things, and it's more about how I treat people. I just have a tendency to treat everyone the same.
Ah,
And
yeah,
and
that's interesting.
I think that's where my consistency lies.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as travel goes, you know, I like things not being organized, but, you know, the security guy and the cop in me says that, you know, I got to do some research about where I'm going or what I'm doing, just from a safety and security perspective. But generally it's open up the map and go, yeah, that looks cool, let's go there.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else on this list? Does it resonate with you, or have you thought of something else that you wish was on this list that others would understand when you know, when they impose certain things on you, that it's not pleasant?
I think Ernie, I think for the long drawn out projects, those are okay, as long as there are milestones within that project that we can reach and reach consistently. But if it's like, okay, we're going to start at A and we're going to finish at B in 6 months, oh, no way.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I like that one that says they're asked to think about the past or the future, because I really am, you know, what's going on the next 24 to 48 hours, and beyond that, I don't, it's not really on my radar. It may be out there on the edge, but it's just, I'm just more concerned about what's going on now.
Yeah, I spoke to someone else who was adaptability ideation, and they were like, I don't even know what's coming in the next 5 minutes. Okay, these are you guys' best environments, in my opinion, you know, where there's a lot of uncharted territory that you get to explore, environments where there's lots of changes occurring, where you get to be spontaneous or where instant action is required, where you get to roam independently or you get to live in the moment, and where there's a lot of, you know, variety or unknown that exists, where you get to experiment and try new things. You get to travel, or maybe even just have to hop on a plane, right, to go meet a customer need, client's needs, where there's, you know, a lack of rules, schedules, routine, and structure to follow. And also, you guys are really good when you get to soothe others, calm people down, and reassure them. That's a gift that you guys have. Any other places where you're at your best with your adaptability?
You know, Brandy, I don't know if this is Brad. Sometimes I get this as like a overarching view of them, but I was like, well, I mean, I don't mind having a few predictable parts of my life. I don't need changes to the point where it's chaotic on a regular basis. I don't mind having the same things, but yeah, I don't want to have like an itemized, detailed schedule of what my day is going to have to go like. There needs to be some give and take in there. So yeah, the people that are On the other extreme, like you go on a vacation, they print you out a schedule of what you'll be doing
Yeah.
from 10 to 10:15. Yes, that's way too much. But I
Yeah.
don't mind having like a Wednesday we're gonna have a date night, or I don't know, something like that, where you have like a home life that has some predictable factors in there. I don't think adaptability means you have to be constantly changing all the time, but I definitely think that it's the to the point of restrictive scheduling that drives us crazy. We don't need to have everything. We need to allow some push and pull, I guess, depending on what's going on from day to day.
Yeah, I was telling Ernie that I plan my spontaneity time. I said, does that equal spontaneity?
Maybe it might. I don't even like to wake up to an alarm if I can help it.
No one does. No one does.
Some people are better at it than I am. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're very good at in those. Everyone tells me I'm great in a crisis situation.
That's right.
It's almost like your vision narrows a little bit, and you get to focus in on what needs to be done, and you're not worried about whatever else. And it just, I don't know, there's almost like a calm in the storm.
Yes, you guys have an exceptional ability to be present in the moment. So when the moment is demanding something urgently, immediately, like you said, your focus just narrows in and you just respond, and you can be fully present, and you're so capable in that moment. That is such a highlight for adaptability people. Some things you might hear when you're in the right environment would be, oh, you're so easygoing, you're so calming, you're reassuring, you're independent, you go with the flow, you're even keeled, you live in the moment, you're always present. You're so free flowing, you adjust and adapt so easily. Change seems easy to you. You are extremely adaptable, flexible. People might thank you for your flexibility. They're going to appreciate, the fact that you're calm and at ease, and that you're easy to get along with. Have you guys heard these things, or have you heard other things frequently?
I have. I get this is Cindy.
Yeah.
I get calls just off the spur of the moment. Can you be here in 10 minutes? We're running short on people and blah, blah. And I'm like, let me get my shoes on. I'm out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so what that
they're
tells
very
me,
appreciative of it, and I get that a lot. They're like, thank you so much for coming in, and you don't know how you've helped, and etc.
Yeah. And what that also tells me, Cindy, is that because you respond to that, they've learned that they can come to you for that, which is a good thing. When you have a strength and you're flexing that strength, and other people are seeing that strength, so that they come to you for that, and that you're utilizing, it allows that strength to be fully engaged, which means that you get to be fully engaged as a person and in your performance. So it's a great thing when you find a place that you can use your strength, people see it, recognize it, use it, it's a need. So you use it, and then, you feel good about it too. It's a win-win-win for everybody. It's a great example.
Some of the best, one of the best, I guess. That's the word I'm looking for. One of the best things said to me, and it's not just once, it's frequently, is, I don't know what we would have done without you.
Mm-hmm.
I made an impression. I made a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So now you probably have heard these too, when you're being your adaptive self and it's not appreciated in that particular moment or environment. And people might say, you're kind of aloof, or you're indecisive, or you seem lackadaisical, or you're reactive rather than proactive. You don't have any direction in your life. You have no boundaries. You bend to every whim. You don't seem to care. Why can't you sit still? You always seem to need change. You let people walk all over you. You don't seem to know what you want. You only take action when you have to. Any of these familiar?
I don't know that I've heard someone tell me that, but I've told myself some of that. You know?
Oh my gosh, you're a realist.
There- I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and place for every strength. And so on the opposite end of what's so wonderful about adaptability, there are things that can frustrate yourself or frustrate others about your own personality.
Yeah.
What you do like to be, oh, sorry.
I have been thought of, or I've been told you don't have no boundaries, but I don't think it was a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think
right.
they were looking at it definitely as a negative, and granted, I've only been told that once.
Yeah.
And that doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know we're not, did you put peer pressure on there? I don't know if that has to do with adaptability, but I know a lot of times if, hey, we're all doing this, and you're like, oh, no, I think I'm going this way. I'll catch you on the flip side. No, we're all doing this. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna, is that adaptability, or am I going into a different strength on that one?
Partially adaptability, partially ideation, and you've got it really strong since you have both. Because both adaptability and ideation both do not like to necessarily have to go like, although adaptability goes with the flow, it's also very independent, it's free form thinking, and it's not going to do something just because everyone else is doing it. So it's both. Ideation is really bad at it. I mean, they're just like, here's the norm, I'm doing something completely opposite, I'm doing something completely different, creative. So it's a little bit of both. Yeah.
Or if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm like, why are we doing that? Oh, everyone's doing it. But yeah, that's not a good reason.
Yeah, you're like, that reason doesn't work for you.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if I was diving into a different strength.
Yeah, a little bit of both. That's right. Yep. What you guys do like to be known for is your flexibility, the fact that you're not resentful, you're independent and free thinking, you're spontaneous and experimental, that you do live fully in that present moment. Your ability to respond and react to, those emergencies right there in the moment. And, you like to be known for being able to relax people, calm them down. And you might even like to be known for your sort of nomadic part of your personality, where you are able to just get up and travel and go and be really flexible. What else? What else do you guys like to be known for? You're not overly dramatic, unless you have woo. No, I'm just kidding, Brad.
How dare you? What do you mean?
Anything else you like to be recognized for? Or do you not like to be recognized at all?
Not being bullied into something.
Oh, you like to be known that you don't get bullied into things.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Okay.
known that you're not going to bully her. That I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Yep.
It's a waste of their time to even try and do that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's some things that we came up with that we thought, as you're talking to an adaptability person, you might pick up on when you're communicating with them, right? They're really good listeners. They are reassuring and they speak calmly. They don't impose opinions or beliefs on you too much, unless they have something else like a stronger, a different strength like command or belief that does have stronger opinions or beliefs. They may seem indecisive unless they have other strengths that are decisive. They might seem just not really bothered, right? They'd be like, I don't care. We can go either way. It doesn't really matter to me. They're just really laid back and low key. And you can also see them enjoying that moment of communication with you. They just live right there in the moment with you. They're going to talk about what's currently on their mind, because that's where their mind sits, is in the current moment about what's going on right now. I've noticed that when I talk to them, I really have to accept where they are in the moment, that maybe they're not thinking about the overall big picture, or, that this is no big deal in the big picture, but just in the moment, they're living the moment. So you just kind of live there with them. And then they may reflect later about, okay, well, that really wasn't a big deal. It just didn't really matter. It's just how I felt at the moment. And what else? They're not going to have expectations of what people should say. They're not going to follow the script. They're just very flexible in the conversation, accepting whatever comes at them, moving along with it. They're natural interpreters because they easily understand multiple perspectives, so they can explain things to multiple people that have different ways of communicating or different perspectives. Anything else that you want to put out there around communication, guys?
I think we like to be, or at least I guess I'll just talk for me. I can't talk for everybody. Easy, not the difficult friend, I guess. Like if you're in a friend group, you'll probably have some of your more structured friends that, hey, you guys want to go to eat? Yeah, let's go to this one restaurant that I know that I am comfortable with. You need to come here. And we're kind of like, whatever, that's cool. We can go wherever we are. We can eat whatever. I'll find something at whatever restaurant we go to. You don't have to change your plans because I don't eat seafood or that I don't eat whatever. So we're not that pain in the ass that you have to take into account when you're planning an evening out, which I think I know I enjoy, that I can go anywhere without people having to rearrange their schedules for my
just make it work anywhere. Yeah. Yep, that's great. I'll put that on the what you like to be known for page.
Just write not a pain in the ass. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. And then, to communicate with you guys, the feedback that I got on this was, it doesn't really matter how we talk to you. You guys are so accepting of different people and different communication styles, and you just kind of accept it overall, that it's not really overly important to focus on this. But that being said, some things that could help is just, if we listen to you, that's nice. If we also are relaxed and calm, kind of meet you where you're at, that could be nice too. Not being too overly dramatic about things, going with the flow, being in the moment, being present with y'all. Some feedback I got was, we don't need to be afraid to bring up topics, to switch topics. We definitely shouldn't impose opinions or views, or say you should do this or you should do that. That's not a good way to approach you guys. We need to make sure that we're not trying to make you follow some communication script, because that isn't happening. And if we're going to be overly opinionated or pushy, then we might shut you down. But for the most part, you guys are just really easy to talk to. I wrote down some engaging questions where I'm not going to really go through these, but I wanted to put them on the list that, if you are trying to break the ice with an adaptability person, there's some questions that you can ask to engage them. Although, like I said, they're really easy to talk to. So you just, sometimes I've found that when they're really introverted, it feels a little awkward because they're so go with the flow and they're introverted that it's hard to get them to talk to you. But they're so funny because they're just easy. They're just laid back. They're like, you can do all the talking. I'm just going to sit here and listen. And they don't mind that at all. Okay, so this one's interesting, right? If you're an adaptability person, how are you going to sell and influence if you're a salesperson? Adaptability. So what I would encourage that person to do is respond to those last minute requests. Of course, adjust communication as needed, and adapt the approach to the needs of the moment. But you might want to show like the new innovations of the products or services because you have an eye for that. You can also accommodate the needs of the client, however they want to do it, a call, a video, travel, in person. Being available 24/7 to take care of the customers and clients is kind of a specialty that the adaptability people have, because they don't mind that spontaneous phone call. And then they could show how the products and services will improve customer care or address emergencies. These are also specialty areas for adaptability, customer care and emergencies. You guys have a great perspective on different points of view. So you can either, adjust to the person you're talking to and showing them the view that they need to see, or maybe that person needs to see all the different points of view. So you guys usually have that in your repertoire to show. You're tuned into how it can improve market responsiveness, You guys can provide an experimental type environment or let them play or test out with, the products or services. And then if you have clients, make spontaneous gestures to them. I know one of my guys that was providing benefits to my last company was Adaptability. He just showed up one day with gluten-free cupcakes for our CEO. And I was like, well, you just hit the jackpot. Like, you just showed up spontaneously in the middle of the day with gluten-free cupcakes for our CEO. Like, that was a total win. So those are really great gestures to make when you have adaptability. Obviously you're going to be able to show clients how the products or services are more flexible and adaptable. Yeah. And obviously listening to the client's needs and understanding where he or she is coming from and adapting what you're selling, right? The product or service that you're selling to their needs, if you can, is good. If we're trying to sell to you, then, obviously we need to listen to your needs carefully. We need to show you multiple perspectives and that we're not set in our ways and just like, this is the only way. That's not going to work with you. Being more calm and low key and just going with the flow and laid back is a better approach than being super intense and stressful. We don't want to pressure you. We want to create the sense of urgency because you guys do respond to that sense of urgency. So that's tricky. How do we create a sense of urgency without creating the pressure? It's really just understanding what creates that sense of urgency for you specifically. We want to show you the different flexible approaches of the products and services. We can, show how products and services increase your innovation, flexibility, independence, ability to travel, and adaptation. We can show, how these products enable you to better address emergencies or last-minute customer service requests, how the product or service improves responsiveness, maybe how it shows you how you can pivot quickly or how your business can quickly pivot. And also if the product or service allows you to be more present, engaged, and live in the moment. Those are going to be incentives for you. And then, we definitely want to show you all the different ways that the product or service could be used, how it could be a platform for multiple uses, or even how it has a different way of using it than it was originally intended for, some sort of creativity. If you want to sell yourself, okay, you can help others relax and feel calm around you. You can be genuine and authentic by actually being adaptable, showing people that you are flexible and adaptable to support your claim to adaptability. You could provide examples of your extraordinary ability to adapt. You can share times of when you changed and adjusted quickly and how that worked well for you or for the team. Obviously, in the moment, you can adjust your communication flow. You can share emergency or high stress situations where you were at your best. I think it's important for you guys to illustrate your flow and how you operate. So like using examples like a chameleon or a river and how it does go in a certain direction, but it weaves and flows to get to that direction, or, those types of things will help others grasp on to your way of working. You can discuss how relationships benefit from your adaptability. And I'm talking about like work relationships or collaborative relationships with team members, because you don't hold grudges, you get over things really quickly. Like Brad said, you take pride in just being easy to get along with and not being the stressful friend. And then of course, showing, customer service examples, how you deal with stressful situations, how you turn on and focus in those situations, and discussing your ease with fast changing dynamic environments, which is really a big sell today since things change rapidly. If you're trying to figure out if this person does have adaptability as a strength, there are some identifiers or indicators, which is like, are they laid back? Are they chill? Are they just going with it? Are they cool, calm, collected? They seem just not to care or non-committal. It's not that they are, it's just, do they seem that way? Do they come off that way? If they do, then they might have adaptability as a top 10 strength. Do they not like structure? Do they travel a lot? Those types of questions. And then I wrote some words down here. Does anybody else have any that you feel like really represent adaptability well, or words that you like hearing?
I know choices is something. When you were going through the sell page there, how to sell to a adaptability person, it's almost like we don't want to feel like we are being, or at least I keep saying we, like I know everybody. I don't like being feeling. I'm one of those people that is more calm before a choice than after I've made it. Like I like to see everything out there and all the different directions it could go in. I don't want to feel like I've been narrowed down into a box after I make a choice. So it's almost like you're having, I like what you were saying about having the conversation with the adaptable person. So you're not selling them. You're not doing the late night TV, you know, but wait, there's more, slap chop, whatever. Look what all I can do with this thing. Sales job. You're just sitting in there having a discussion with them.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like you're tailor making your, even if you're not, you act like you're tailor making your product to what their needs are.
Yeah.
And what they want. And it's almost like you're giving them the ability to be more flexible with this product. Just allows them to have more choices in whatever they're doing. You know, that's a big player where I don't feel like I'm being narrowed down into a place where I don't have as many directions as I could go.
That's awesome.
that
That's
makes
great feedback. You know, that's really insightful, Brad. Thank you.
You know, only child. I have a lot of time to think about things on my own.
Okay, let me go back to the full thing here. Okay, here's some considerations that me and my friends have thought through to share with you guys today. Without clearly defined direction or outcomes, others may not know what to expect and might find it difficult to follow you. Because you might not care one way or the other, you may come off as aloof or uncaring to others. People may walk all over you if you do not set clear boundaries with them. So really think through and think about and distinguish your priorities, and then communicate those to others. You know, what is important to you and what's not, right? What are you flexible about, but where are your boundaries, or what is important to you? If your friends and your relationships and your colleagues and your managers, they understand these things, then because where the shocker comes into the rest of us is we think you're just completely flexible and spontaneous on everything. And so then we don't mean to walk all over you, but we end up doing that because we don't know your boundaries, or we don't know what's important, or where your values are. So you have to get clarity around those, and then you have to share them with others, which I know can be difficult because you don't want to seem inflexible, but it is important to have those little bits of structure laid out to work well with others. Because you are so flexible, it may be difficult for you to nail down which path you'd really like to pursue. So, you know, just collaborating with a coach or a leader or someone else, a friend that can help you realize where you're at your best and where you can shine will really help. You may feel like you're constantly floating and responding to life rather than taking initiative. So you want to choose careers that require you to be you, right? They require you to take an immediate response to last minute spontaneous needs. And so you can be at your best every day. Because you take pride in your ability to be a chameleon, adapt and adjust, you may wish that you were things that you're actually not. So you may look down into those bottom strengths of yours and say, man, I really wish I could be that, or I could change into that, or I could, you know, put that mask on, or adapt to that in that moment. But just remember that, I mean, putting your energy into the things that you're really good at is going to produce much stronger results for you than trying to be something you're not. The world may move a little slower to you when it comes to changing directions. You just have to be a little patient with others so that you don't end up traveling the world alone, because a lot of times they will catch up. It's just a matter of how quickly they can catch up. Don't be afraid to follow your gut and change course quickly, but also know that it's okay to go slower at times to gather more information before making changes and determining a course. Since there are 100 different directions to take, and it can be difficult to choose which one, and maybe even you have a belief that you could choose any path and get to where you're going, this could hinder progress, or at least getting there quickly if you care about getting somewhere quickly. So, you know, this is just, you know, thinking about deliberately choosing a path versus randomly choosing a path to get to where you're going. And again, that could be working with someone else to make that choice so that maybe you save yourself a little time to where you're trying to go. If you say you don't care, make sure that you truly mean it so that you're not walked all over or end up lashing out later as you get frustrated. If you are plan averse, if you don't like to plan, realize that you don't have to plan hardcore, but you can just take a little bit, incorporate a little bit to a small degree, and that could bolster your ability to adapt. You want to play to your adaptability by incorporating something for a season to test it out and see if the change elevates your results or not. So don't just reject everybody else's way just because it's the way they seem to do it consistently or regularly, but give it a go. And then, you may demand that other people see multiple perspectives when they just simply cannot. Their beliefs or their mind is made up or set in stone. So just meet them where they are. Know that, there's just an extent of the type of relationship you can have with that person. Okay, so to work well with others, obviously you're just going to be yourself. Ask and be open to other people's ideas. Help them live and enjoy the present moment. Offer to help with last minute project requests. Bring experimentation and innovation to the team. Calm and reassure your team members when needed. Offer to tackle tasks for them that need to be immediately addressed. Sometimes there's these short-term things that just pop up. I know I hated that because I had my whole day planned. So I would have loved it if some team members said, oh, I'll take that on. That's no problem. Be the first line of defense for those last-minute customer inquiries. And, make sure when you're working with others that you find ways to show them that you care about them. You can use your spontaneous nature, but just make sure that you're finding ways to show care so that people don't think you don't care. Empower other team members to do those structured, predictable, repetitive tasks. You're like, yay, no problem, Brandy. If the role requires on-call opportunities, let the team know you'll take those on if you want to, because more structured people don't really appreciate those. And again, team members are just going to need time to keep up, to catch up when there's change, or you can help others, take experience change as an okay thing and help them get through it so you guys can move on quickly and be productive again. And then for us to partner with you, we have lots of things we need to consider. Like we need to make sure that we provide variety and we surprise people sometimes, and we travel with you, and know that you need room to roam and be independent and spontaneous and experimental. We know that we gotta be open to multiple perspectives around you, and that we can't expect you to be uber consistent, structured, repetitive, all those things. We also need to be aware that we shouldn't be overbearing or overly opinionated if we want to work well with you. Okay, I think that covers that. I added a new slide today. I thought this was interesting. We're not going to go through it all here, but I wanted to give it to you for reference, where there's just different types of partners for different strengths that can help them do certain things. So I wanted to list the adaptability partnerships out. So like, for example, if you do have a moment where, risk needs to be predicted for whatever reason, this is where you go seek out a deliberative person to get their opinion or their thoughts on that. And so I just thought this would be helpful for you guys to have kind of a reference list. And in relationships, obviously, you need to show care, be fully present. We're really looking at how do you use your strengths to be really effective in relationships here. Being open to the ideas of the other person, responding intelligently to the moment's demand, whether that's conversation or if you're out there doing something together. Bringing and offering that spontaneity and variety or variation and experimentation that you naturally have to the relationship is really cool, because then it doesn't get stagnant, it prevents stagnation. Making deliberate daily choices that form the future. So taking, daily initiatives or choices that add up for the future. Bringing that calmness and relaxation and reassurance to the relationship is awesome. And then jumping in to help, when somebody needs help right in the moment, jumping in to help will really increase the health or well-being of the relationship. And obviously you need to find a partner that needs, respects, and appreciates your ability to be flexible and doesn't resent it. And understand, obviously, that, again, your partner may not adapt to change quickly. They may need a minute to catch up. They also might just be more opinionated or more passionate about things than you are, which is okay. It's just a different way of expressing. And there was one more thing I wanted. Oh no, that was it. That was it. Okay, if you're a leader, there's certain things you can bring to the team, like being fully present to the needs of your team and listening to them. You can also bring that experimentation into the team. What's cool too is you can show them that they can make mistakes. It's no problem. We can adapt to change and just resolve it and move forward. There's specific areas where a leader with adaptability can focus on leading, like leading customer service teams, leading innovation teams, leading emergency healthcare teams. This is where your style of leadership is going to be most beneficial because you're trying to teach and get others to do the types of things that you do. They need to do those to be successful, a successful member of the team. And then as a coach, I always care about this. I try to bring focus and structure to help them, but I try not to impose too much. I try to encourage them to do things in a way that works for them. So, we need to get things done, but how do we do that spontaneously or freely or independently? And knowing that they will do it. They're just going to do it on their own time. And then I also look at their other strengths and leverage them to see how they're motivated and what else drives them, and really get to what's important to them. That helps me, say the right things to give them that little push or sense of urgency to get them going. And then obviously I'm looking for resources and complementary partners that benefit the adaptable person. Adaptability people do have a tendency to put things off until it's desperate, right? Till there's a need, till there's just an immediate, this needs to happen now. So it's really important as coaches for us to really try to give them that sense of urgency of, you really need to do this now in order for this to pan out in your future. If you don't do it now, this future isn't gonna, you're not gonna make the mark, so it's important for us to try to frame things in a way that creates a sense of urgency in the moment. And then showing them roles that allow them to do multiple different things, doesn't box them in, doesn't force them to do something repetitively, and aligns with unstructured personalities. This helps them be more selective about the roles that they choose. And then here's a list of things that you guys can do on a daily basis to just remain in your strength zone. What other thoughts did you guys have? Or, any other comments or thoughts you want to contribute to today's session? Was this helpful?
Hey, Brandy, this is Ernie. I just
Yes.
want to say, I think it's really accurate, everything that we've seen today. And especially during this time of year, adaptability is very necessary, especially for us that have woo as number 34 whenever we have to go to Christmas parties.
I'm sure you're gonna make it. I'm sure you're gonna survive, Ernie. By the way, I want to thank you, Ernie, for all your help on going through all these slides with me and giving me all the feedback and insights you gave me on your number 2 strength of adaptability. It was really, really helpful putting these together.
What's
It was
his number
my
one strength?
I heard Ernie say it was my pleasure, and then I heard Brad say something, but I don't know what it was.
I just said, what is his number one strength?
Belief.
Believe that you're adaptable.
That's it.
He has a belief of adaptability. That's right.
I like to tell people that I'm like Gumby. You can stretch me, you can pull me. I'm adaptable, but I'm always going to come back to the center.
Your core values. Is that right?
That's it.
That's awesome. What else? Did anybody else have any thoughts?
I will say that in terms of the chameleon thing that you were talking about can sometimes work both directions, because it's true. We are very, I am to the point that I can actually adapt to the energies in the room. Like if I walk in and a certain workplace energy is going on, I kind of take that on, as opposed to walking in and driving in my own energy. And so sometimes it's difficult for people to place you because you
Yes.
don't bring one specific thing in at all times, which, you know, sometimes it's hard for them to say, you'd be good at this. We need to put Brad on this, because you've become a chameleon. They're not sure what to do with that.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know where you stand, right? If you're this way over here and you're this way over here, how can I trust who you really are? Like, who are you?
Yeah. If I had an emoji, you'd just be the shoulder shrug. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to share? Was anything missing?
Not for me. I got a lot out of it,
Hey,
and my adaptability is number one. So
Right.
actually, I will be going over this again to read a few things to see. I can see that there's a few things maybe I need to work a little harder on.
hey, that's your restorative kicking in.
Yep.
Marcia, what about you? Anything else that you wanted to add or share with the squad we have today?
No, I thought it was real interesting. I think for me, I guess because of that consistency is right there. There's, you know, a lot that it's like, well, no, I'm not quite that go with the flow. Or I mean, I am go with the flow until, I think it was Ernie was talking about that, you know, up until a point, you're just like,
Yeah.
well, no, or maybe it was Brad. I don't know, that just not going there. We can go, but no.
Yeah, and
I-
I've met entrepreneurs that have adaptability that are like really high, strong entrepreneurs. They don't have any boundaries. They don't have any restrictions. They don't feel responsible to anything. They don't have strong beliefs. You know, they just want to be super free thinking or independent. But you know, like you and Ernie both have consistency, but he also has responsibility and belief, and you know, there's just a lot of other strengths that balance. You know, so that you're not so free, so spontaneous that you're out there being a criminal about something. You know, it's like there's got to be some things that rein you in. So what you're saying is so true, that we have other strengths that rein in our other strengths. Although we're covering this in a very like, if you were only adaptable, this is what it might be like. Since you're exactly right, you know, not everything on here is going to apply to all of you by any means, because there's just other parts to your strengths that play into your personality.
Well, and I'm wondering, since my number one is harmony, that kind of goes with a lot of the adaptability, that you want to keep the peace, just whatever's going to work. And, you know, so I don't really care, or yeah, we can, you know, just like the example about, you know, the restaurant, it is kind of like, I go anywhere, you know, any way you want to go, but just, I don't want to pick a fight unless there's a really good reason. So I think the harmony kind of plays into that too.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Maybe adaptability and harmony actually intensify one another, since harmony is so accommodating because they do want to keep the peace.
Yeah.
And so maybe when you have adaptability as well, then it just exemplifies that.
Yeah. And I do, there's times where I just think that, okay, you need to stand up for yourself, or you get stepped on a little bit because you're too accommodating.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys don't have to be afraid to put some boundaries, or, you know, put some of those requests in place, because you generally don't have any. So to just ask for a few here and there, no big deal whatsoever. Everybody else is going to be, okay, that's your boundary. Absolutely. They're going to respect that. Unless they're just don't respect boundaries. But But everybody should be okay with just a few. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for your participation and for joining today. I thought I might do a ranger next week if that sounds good to you. It's an execution oriented strength, which I wanted to do one of those. So that's what I have planned. And
Okay.
yeah, otherwise, have a wonderful day.
Thanks. This is the first one I've jumped in on. It was super interesting and helpful. So thanks, Brandy.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming and trying it. We do it every Monday at 12 on the same Zoom link. So you can just join anytime you can, and you can invite people to it. It's an open link.
Okay, great.
What's the topic next week?
I was going to do a ranger next week.
A ranger. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Susan. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.